Hey, what is up guys, this is Cobb and welcome to the account of Mr. Fatigue, sitting at account level 52, only like a month and a bit in, so a very young account, but honestly an account that's showing, whoops, holy crap. Did I just click? I just clicked accidentally on the offer to almost accidentally purchase the Game Leap upgrade pack, which, there you go, man, limited time. Buy it now, man, while stocks last. Anyways, man, yeah, so we're on Fatigue's account. His account is looking so promising, dude. Like, oh my god, like, look at this Akemtum action, already maxed up, fully skill bucked up as well, looking so good. We got the Doom Priest, man, we got the Tagore, we got the Rector, we got the Skull Crown. You scrolling just a little bit further down, there's some great champs down here too, man. The Fane is here sitting at level 40, Cold Heart as well, pulled very recently according to the account owner. Amazing pulls. Yeah, this account is just showing so much promise. However, we're looking to optimize some clan boss teams here. We're also looking to give some recommendations on what champions to build out next, which champions to max up next for not just Demon Lord clan boss, but also Hydra clan boss as well. So just for context, I see that we spent one key so far here, dealing about 10 mil, 9.5 million damage into brutal clan boss, and this seems to be about where we are on the account, and this is what the team looks like so far. So I can already see a couple of weak links in the chain here that we can hopefully replace with time. We've got plenty of poisons in this team with the Taragi, the Akemtum, the Kale. Might even be a little bit too much, but I don't think so, man. It looks like the team is functioning quite nicely in terms of damage. The Loki, the Ugo in particular, we can probably have these guys take a hike and look to make some improvements on the team. But this is how the team is looking so far. And don't worry, man, far be it for me to be throwing shade in Ugo's direction, given how good she is into Hydra clan boss. We're going to be touching on that a little bit later. But first, let's touch on something else, man. Like the beginner promo link down below at the top of the video description, man. In fact, you should touch that link right now. Create a new account using my beginner promo link down below, man, to get a priority pass access, I guess, in the queue to get involved in this account takeover series, man. It also happens to be just, I don't know, like one of the best beginner promo links that exists right now at this time in Raid Shadow Legends, getting you 4 free epic champions to kickstart your new account. So yeah, you should definitely do that. Also, while you're down there, you can also go ahead and join my Discord server, which is linked down below in the description box as well. And you can go ahead, join that server, and make a post in the account takeovers submissions channel for a shot at getting involved in this series. I'm not going to be able to get to everybody. Frankly, I'm overwhelmed by how many people are hyped to get involved in this series. But hell, I'm gonna do my best, man. Okay, man, so Demon Lord clan boss. We obviously have plenty of poisons that we're bringing to the table here. I feel like Akemtum is definitely going to be sticking around in this Demon Lord clan boss team for a long time. While Demon Lord clan boss isn't Akemtum's specialty, he actually functions better into wave content where he can spread his hexes using his A2, and also his passive has a chance of inflicting damage from one poison debuff to all other enemies under hex debuffs whenever their allies receive damage from poisons. Yeah, he's amazing into wave content. Honestly, a very solid Hydra damage dealer as well. Demon Lord clan boss, he can still do a job though. His A1 is just that good. It's a triple hitter with a chance of placing poison debuff for 2 turns. Yeah, unbelievable. For this to just be an A1 is kind of incredible. And then you couple that up with the fact that we've also went ahead and picked up the masteries on the Akemtum, and we have the Giant Slayer mastery down at the bottom here. 30% chance of inflicting bonus damage when attacking, max HP damage on hit. It's a lower land rate, but at the same time, when your A1 is a bloody triple hitter, yeah, Giant Slayer is going to be incredible into Demon Lord clan boss, man. Very good indeed. So, interestingly, we're on like a month and a bit in, and the Kale is already kind of falling behind a little bit in terms of value into Demon Lord clan boss. He's good for the time being. He can stick around in the team for now. The Akemtum and the Kale partnership. But for me, this is what the ideal Demon Lord clan boss team would look like on this account, and I'd focus on building these champions out as quickly as humanly possible. And then we will get onto the Hydra stuff, of course, man. So first of all, Akemtum, yeah, he can stick around, be one of our core damage dealers into the Demon Lord for a long time. We have him built out, he's ready to rock and roll, and we'll also be using Akemtum into Hydra as well. So yeah, just a great champion to have in the bank. Taragi the Frog can also stick around. He has a chance to place poison debuffs on his passive every time he takes damage. He also brings a albeit fairly low land rate, but strong version decrease attack debuff on his A1, which is also great. But most importantly, he brings AoE shielding and the strong version of ally protection buff on all allies on a 3-turn cooldown once fully booked up on his A3. This is going to be immense for keeping our team alive, giving our team a crap load of stability. And yeah, Taragi, if there's one thing he's exceptionally good at, it's going to be Demon Lord Clan Boss in the early game, so he can definitely stick around as well, right? Ally protect, increase defense, decrease attack against the Clan Boss. All of these survivability tools are going to buy you so much more time against the Demon Lord. Next up, and this next pick might surprise you all just a little bit, but working our way down the list here, Rector's tempting, but we don't really need her quite so much. Not when we have Doom Priest waiting in the wings. I feel like Doom Priest is honestly kind of underrated in the Demon Lord Clan Boss. She, of course, with her passive, you just build her out to be as fast as possible, and then every single time she gets a turn, her passive ticks to heal allies for 7.5% of their HP and removes one random debuff from them at the start of this champion's turn. Certain affinities of Clan Boss are actually placing debuffs quite consistently, and so removing those even more consistently is going to be quite good to have. She's also going to be removing and cleansing the Clan Boss stun when that comes out, which is also great. And she also, of course, the healing is also going to be quite useful too. And she also brings an increased attack buff as well on the A2. The main reason I'd recommend building out the Doom Priest for this Demon Lord Clan Boss team is because we're also going to be using her into Hydra as well. That's kind of like the main reason. Yeah, she's just the amount of debuffs that are coming out so thick and fast into Hydra. Having a support champ like Doom Priest that she's not relying on like getting one of her skills off or something to cleanse debuffs. No, it just happens with the passive. You don't have to worry about it, you know? So you just build her as fast as possible in a relentless set if you can, so that whenever she gets an extra turn, she's double proccing the passive. Very, very, very good stuff. So yeah, champion number 4 to replace the Kale, because the Kale, his A3 is great into Demon Lord. That's kind of all he's got going for him when you're going to be comparing him with the likes of Finn. Finn is just Kale on steroids. She brings about as much poisons, maybe like slightly less poisons than kills. She brings like a double poison debuffer on her A2, but she brings so much more on top of that as well. Not only does she bring poison, but she also brings the strong version of decreased attack on this A2 as well. Of course, you have to send her up and get some skill books into her. And then on the A3, she also brings decreased defense and weaken, two additionally fantastic debuffs to bring into Demon Lord Clan Boss as well. And then the 5th and final champion that we'll be replacing eventually will be the Loki. Frankly, we might actually have issues with Loki the Deceiver on the team with his A1 increasing the duration of enemy debuffs by 1 turn. We might just have too many poisons on the team and too many debuffs like the weaken and the decreased defense and stuff with Fane, right? She brings so much to the table that we might end up stacking more than 10 debuffs, and then that's like the cap. And we might end up in a situation where we have too many poisons applied, and so now we failing to land the weaken or we failing to land the decrease attack. That would be really bad, you know? So the Loki can do a job in this team for a long, long time, but eventually it would be great if we could replace the Loki with just an increased speed buffer on the team. Perhaps even a champion like Skull Crusher, the Ogre epic that just buffs everybody with counterattack, perhaps. But for now, at least, the Loki can stick around on that Clan Boss team, man. I think it'll be fine. A couple of other things worth mentioning is that we probably want to get into a position where we're building out a Kemptum as our aura lead, because he brings a plus speed in all battles aura. That's just great to have. It's going to help bolster out our damage by quite a bit, get us more attacks and all that good stuff. And additionally, with Taragi the Frog, as far as his build goes, he's lacking quite a bit of accuracy. His defense is quite low. Of course, he's not maxed up all the way to level 60 yet. That's going to help, but he could also just use a bit more defense as an ally protector, really bolstering out his defensive stats as best as we possibly can. Going to be crucially important. He's also lacking accuracy, so he's not really landing that decreased attack on his A1, and additionally, he's not landing those poisons from his passive as well. And so we could definitely do with fixing that up a little bit. And alright, I will actually go in and plan out some builds that we could switch on to some of these champions as well and do a little bit of champion rebuilding, I suppose a bit further towards the end of this video. But before we get to that, man, let's cover some Hydra champions. So one role that I'm noticing is missing quite a bit, even though we're like off to a very, very good start on this account, of course, for the early days that we are still in. One role that we are missing, actually a couple of roles that we're missing into Hydra that are very, very crucially important, are just good increased speed buffer champions, as well as good AoE decrease speed champions. We're kind of lacking on those, man. We've got the good old block buffs debuff coming in from the Ugo. That's an amazing one to have. Provokers, we don't have the best options. Husk can do that job on his A1. It's not super reliable. You got to get him fully booked out, and even then it's just going to fail to land sometimes on the head of decay. But provoke is obviously very important. We've checked those boxes great. We've also got, of course, the Hex coming in from the Akemptum, so that's going to be great as well. We've checked a lot of boxes, but our team is going to be kind of slow, and we don't have a way to place decreased speed on the Hydra heads. That said, man, we've got some great options to pull from. So the Akemptum is obviously going to be great. The Ugo is obviously going to be fantastic as well. An AoE decreased defense, AoE block buffs, fantastic. Sun Wukong is going to be a good option for a backup block buffs style champion as well. We could just bring him or the Ugo and kind of use them sort of interchangeably, or use one in one Hydra team and one on the other Hydra team. It's definitely going to be very nice indeed to have those options. Rector Drath is one of the best epic support champions as far as supporting in Hydra teams goes. Mostly because, well, not just because of the revive, which is a great backup to have, and the healing, which is also obviously fantastic, but she also is placing the crap out of Perfect Veil buffs, which is just another sort of key buff to bring into Hydra to help you counter the Head of Torment, which otherwise, if you're attacking the Head of Torment without the Perfect Veil buff, it's going to be placing all kinds of unresistible True Fear debuffs on your champs, which is a huge pain to handle. And so the Rector Drath is going to be a great component in this team as well. We've already touched on Doom Priest too, and so while I'm not recommending that we go ahead on this account and build out the Rector as soon as possible and level 60 the Doom Priest as soon as possible, it's something we should think about doing in the next month or two, just because it is my belief that these are going to be two integral champions for getting us started into Hydra. Again, the Doom Priest's cleanse ability is great. Just building her out to level 60 ensures that she's not getting one-shotted and that she has high enough defense and HP to be surviving in Hydra, right? Another, honestly, pretty decent champ we could look to build out here is the Tagore. We could even consider maybe slotting in the Tagore instead of the Rector Drath when we first getting started. It's going to be a bit less healing coming in from the Tagore, but he does bring the revive, which isn't nothing, you know, it's something. And he also does bring increased speed. A little bit of healing attached to this skill as well. That's kind of a tough decision to make. That's a tough call to make. I'd advise Mr. Fatigue to go ahead and experiment between the Tagore and the Rector and see which one feels best and see which one performs best into early Hydra. Again, we just talk about getting started in normal Hydra for the first time. It might be that the Rector's Perfect Veil, an increased healing output, is going to do more for the Hydra team than the Tagore, but I would say never underestimate the AoE increased speed buff on the Tagore. He's also like, he's like the best increased speed buffer champion option that we have on the account to potentially take up to max and give a shot into Hydra. He might just outperform the Rector. That's all I'm saying. And even if he doesn't, he'll probably be used in like one of your like a B team or something for Hydra, you know? So maybe one team is taking care of hard Hydra, and then you got like Tagore in the B team helping out in normal. Either way, man, he could be a pretty good option. Next we've got Husk, who I love to see that we've already built out to level 50. Husk is honestly just an amazing champ to build out anyway, even if you're no longer using him in Hydra and you eventually replace him with somebody better. Just his attack all enemies with a 50% land rate stun, actually 60% land rate stun, fully booked on his A2, is just crazy into wave content anyway. But of course, damage is based on max HP on Husk's A2. He can hit like a truck into Hydra, and the harder difficulty of Hydra you're using him into, the more enemy max HP that the Hydra heads have, and so the harder he hits, and so he actually scales up with Hydra difficulty. Now, of course, you'll eventually replace him with hopefully better legendary damage dealer options and stuff like that, but yeah, Husk is going to be an amazing damage dealer into Hydra, and of course, his double hitter provoke. Again, we're very limited on good Hydra provokers on this account right now. Husk might just be the best option that we have to make sure that we're getting the provoke debuff up on the Head of Decay. And so I gotta go ahead and recommend that we max the Husk up pretty soon. Maybe like in the next like 3 or 4 champions that we take up to 60. The Husk is going to be a damn good one. We're running him in a very interesting gear set. Low accuracy, so he's not really going to be landing his stun. His speed is also very low. This set right here, the Reflex set, even though these are not the best boots in the world, at least they double HP rolled, I suppose. The Reflex set is honestly amazing for the Husk as well. If you can get him in 4 pieces of Reflex, you know, 100% crit rate, good enough accuracy to be landing the stuns and the provokes, then the Reflex set you just want it to be refreshing the cooldown and lowering the cooldown of this A2 as much as humanly possible, so you can just spam this enemy max HP AoE skill into Hydra and really bolster out its damage by a hell of a lot, man. The Husk is going to be a great champion to build out. Now, another champion that I recommend that I'm just going to check on how much we've collected of good old Drexthar. Nice. We've actually been working on the Drexthar pretty consistently, given that we're only 40 days into this account. It's not easy to farm early Tag Arena every day and farm wins in Tag Arena. It's just tough to get your hands on the Drexthar fragments from the bazaar in the Tag Arena, but Drexthar is going to be amazing. Very, very good champion indeed to build out as like a free-to-play option to take into Hydra. Of course, he's placing HP burn buffs every time he gets hit, which the Hydra heads are like AoE hitting you all the time, so he's going to be placing all kinds of HP burn debuffs. And also, if the target is under an HP burn debuff, then he lands a very, very high land rate provoke on his A2, you know, so you can build him nice and quick to be getting off this A2 as much as possible. And then he's a very, very nice damage dealer plus provoker option that you can bring into Hydra as well. Yeah, Drexthar is a good one. Very, very pleased to see. Honestly, this account is great. Dude, this account, I almost feel like Mr. Fatigue submitted this account as like a flex as to how good you can do in the early game, man. Even the Great Hall is coming along very, very beautifully indeed as well. Throwing some upgrades around certain nodes, but now focusing on the accuracy nodes, which is just, again, amazing to see. This account's just going awesome, man. So let's go ahead and build like a sample Hydra team just to kind of solidify our goals a little bit here. Okay, so for me, the beginnings of the team look a little bit something like this. Ekemptum is the aura lead for the plus speed aura. Husk coming in as like the second big damage dealer, but he's also going to be fulfilling the role of provoker for the time being because he's the best option that we've got. We can then choose between either Sun Wukong or the Ugo, right? It should really be one or the other. You don't really want to be overlapping your block buffs, debuff champions. We can bring one or the other. It might be the case that in lower levels of Hydra, you're just trying to get the Hydra heads dead for the first time so you can start making progress. Like once you've got the first Hydra head dead and killed and decapitated, it's like, oh man, suddenly the fight gets a lot easier, you know? It gets a hell of a lot easier and you kind of like break through in Hydra for the first time. And you go from doing like 1 million damage with all of your Hydra keys to doing like 14 or 15 million damage, and it spikes very, very quickly once you get the Hydra heads dead for the first time. And for that purpose, the Sun Wukong might actually do a bit of a better job early on. But I feel like overall, Ugo's probably going to be the champion that hopefully we can run with into Hydra. But we can definitely be using the Sun Wukong in another Hydra team as well, kind of like alongside this one. As for support options, I feel like a definite bring along is going to be the Doom Priest. Again, her debuff removal passive and the healing from a passive are just so good. Like it blew me away how good she is into early Hydra when you're just getting started and you need that reliable debuff removal. Very, very good indeed. Then it's going to be kind of that decision that we talked about a little bit earlier on, where we can either go the Rector Dreth for the increased healing and for the perfect veil buffs, or we can go ahead and switch in the Tagore for a bit less healing. Still brings a revive, which is nice. Bit less healing, but also brings that 30% increased speed buff as well. And so, yeah, bit of experimentation required here to pick and choose between which of these two nerds we'll be running in. And then, honestly, this team has a lot of things covered. Reasonable healing, block buffs, debuff, provoke, kind of half taken care of by the Husk at least. The big Hex and increased damage as well and stuff coming in from the Ekemptum could be pretty saucy. We could go ahead and just fill the final role with the Sun Wukong for a backup block buffs debuffer for the damage that he's bringing. You know, he's going to do fine damage as well, so long as he is built out correctly. We could try and squeeze in Dark Elhain. I don't think I'd super recommend that. Her AoE skill, attack all enemies, does have a chance of placing decreased speed on an AoE. That is an option that we've got. She's very, very squishy, is the drawback for Dark Elhain. I'm not sure that the healing on this team will be enough to sustain her. She might just be spending a lot of time lying on the ground, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm not sure I quite recommend the Dark Elhain for that. Realistically, the best possible champion we could use to fill up this final slot into Hydra, Drexthar Blood Twin is the one that comes to mind. He'd bring more damage with the HP burns. He'd take care of the provoke job much more consistently than the Husk. And then from there, it's just looking for flat champion upgrades that can replace these guys and just do a better job overall. You know, champions that have an AoE decreased speed would be a premium to collect, maybe to eventually replace the Doom Priest, you know, with like another support champion instead. But yeah, I think we've got the beginnings of something pretty goddamn saucy cooking on this account, man. Dude, do I wish my like free-to-play account, my second account, you know, got off to such a good start as this. It's looking amazing, man. Oh yeah, and another option we could also run here, we shouldn't write off the Skull Crown, man. The Skull Crown could just be like a backup sort of damage dealer option that we throw in instead of the Sun Wukong, just while we're like building other champions out and looking to fill this final 6th slot. Now, not only does she have like attack all enemies and just like reasonable damage, and again, just getting the Hydra head dead for the first time is such a big milestone when you're getting started in Hydra. But she also brings an attack all enemies with an AoE weaken debuff on the A2 also, which is really not bad. This is a damn good debuff to bringing into Hydra if you can squeeze it into the team as well. And so Skull Crown is an option too. But yeah, as for the starting 5, not counting that 6th slot, which is going to be very, very pliable and subject to experimentation, this would probably be the team I would look to build up to level 60 over the course of the next few months on this account. Don't have to rush any of these guys up particularly, but in fact, before we get to some champion rebuilds, which I'll just spend like a few minutes on towards the end of the video here, what champions would I max up first on this account and in what order? If I was this account owner, feel free to disagree, man, if you wish, but screw all of these Hydra and Clan Boss champions. I would rush the Cold Heart up to level 60 as quickly as possible. Her ability to help you progress into Fire Knight, into Dragon, into Spider. She's just like the queen of dungeons and dungeon progression. Yeah, I feel like the Cold Heart is going to be a pretty easy pick to take up to level 60 first. She's also very, very easy to fully book out and to build out and all that stuff because she's just a rare champion. Yeah, I take the Cold Heart up to level 60 first and foremost on this account. The next one I would take up to 60 would be the Fern, simply because the earlier you get the Fern built up to level 60, the more use you're going to get out of her on the account. She's going to be a staple in the Demon Lord Clan Boss team basically forever. That's how important the debuffs are that she is bringing. The decreased attack, the decreased defense, the weaken, all indispensable buffs once you've got them on the team and you get used to having them on the team. And then she also brings poison damage as well. And so yeah, she's just such an easy replacement for the Kale in the Demon Lord Clan Boss team, and she'll be used for a long, long time to come. Then I would go ahead and take the Husk up to level 60, will be the next champion that I ramp on up, and again, get him fully booked out basically as quickly as possible. He's going to be amazing into all wave content, and just having him ready to launch into your Hydra team for that A2 would be yeah, a huge, huge priority. Next up, and then finally, we would get to the supports. For me, Doom Priest and then Tagore, or Doom Priest and then Rector Drath would be the order in which I rank these champs up, just because we're going to be using Doom Priest probably into Demon Lord Clan Boss as well. Maybe, but we would certainly be using her into Hydra. And of course, these guys are a little bit further on down the list because they're support style champions, and the only reason you take a support champion up to level 60 is if they are dying too quickly in the content that you want to use them in. So that's going to be more advanced stages of Demon Lord and certainly Hydra, you know, so they can be knocked down the list a little bit. Maybe we'll pull better options and better supporting options than the Doom Priest, Rector, and Tagore in future shard pulling events and stuff like that, in which case they might get relegated down the list even further. That could totally happen, but that is the order in which I would be ranking up these champs. Now for some rebuilds, man. Standing off with the Husk, I think, is in the deepest need of a rebuild, just because he's very, very slow. He's lacking accuracy. His health isn't that impressive. Let's see if we can do something with the Husk here. Okay, so this is what we are looking to come up with the Husk. I'm not going to roll any of this gear up because obviously this account has like 700,000 silver, so we don't really got a lot of supplies to play with here. But in a future artifact enhancement event, once Fatigue has his silver stockpiled all up again, I feel like these gear pieces would honestly be some great upgrades. If we can roll up these gloves to max and just hit HP percentage and crit damage mostly, these will be great. They'll also get us up towards, with the help of this chestplate, which is HP percentage accuracy crit. Just like 1 or 2 hits on crit here gets to something like 90 something percent crit rate total once these gloves are like fully maxed out and stuff. So I think that would be in a pretty good position. We'd also be getting some speed boots on him here, hopefully hitting as much crit damage percent as possible. And then on the weapon, again, accuracy, HP percentage here, great. I did notice that we actually had some, actually we have like an attack ring as well equipped on the Husk here too, which we're also going to replace, just because attack does absolutely nothing really for the Husk. It just scales up the damage on his A3, which is like the weakest part of his kit. We're not really worried about that. His A2 scales purely based on enemy max HP, and so just making the Husk an absolute tanky unit with as much health as possible and a bit of defense here and there is also going to be great. Also, in addition, this ring could roll up into more HP percentage here, which is awesome. Defense, HP percentage, that kind of thing on the accessories. And of course on the amulet, we want to be wanting to run crit damage percentage as the main stat amulet as much as we can. The husk isn't ascended up yet, so I can't put those on. And we've also got a very, very good little couple pieces of perception gear here, one of which rolled into some crit, bit of accuracy, and likewise the shield could roll very, very good. If we just dodge the resistance rolls as much as we can, like these are all good stats to be piling onto the husk. And so final result is once these boots, of course, rolled up to 16 as well, hopefully with some crit damage along the way, he's going to be faster, he's going to have more health, his defense, once the ring is rolled up, should be about the same as where it is right now, if not slightly improved. Yeah, he's going to be great, man. The crit, again, is going to be much, much better, and the accuracy, most importantly, is in a decent enough spot for the time being, but we can work on that with more accessories as well. So I've went ahead and I've saved this husk build, and that's the husk pretty much taken care of. Next up, we've got the good old Akemtum build, and honestly, I'm pretty happy with where the Akemtum is. He's doing great, he's doing fine. The chestplate being accuracy, not super ideal. If this could just be like attack percent, I think that would be in a pretty good spot. He's actually a little bit overkill on accuracy for where we are right now into things like Demon Lord. I think he only needs like 170 or something to be hitting into a brutal Demon Lord. Don't quote me on that, but it's certainly not 280. You know, 280, we talk about like hard Hydra and stuff like that, if memory serves correctly. A consideration we could make on the Akemtum is taking these crit rate gloves off of the shield guard and putting them on Akemtum instead. Sadly, they're only 4-star, and so we drop below that 100% crit rate. We'd lose a little bit of crit, but we gain the speed. Yeah, tough consideration to make. Probably better just keeping the gloves that he's got, but just getting the Akemtum as fast as possible is going to be super, super ideal for us, in my view, especially because he's got the Giant Slayer Mastery as well, so just getting him hitting in with his A1 as much as possible into Demon Lord Clan Boss and getting him as quick as possible is going to be great. But yeah, I won't actually touch the Akemtum's build. Next up, Doom Priest, and here we go, man. She's going to be stealing a lot of gear in future, in my view, from the Ugo and from just other champions in general. I feel like she belongs in the Relentless set much, much more than the Ugo. We don't give a damn. This is the beauty of Doom Priest, right? Just make her as fast as possible and get her those extra 10s from the Relentless set, and she will pay you back in spades. Nothing else particularly matters, right? She doesn't need accuracy, she doesn't need attack. It's just not her job. Just defense, health, and as fast as possible. So that's all that matters here, man. So I'm switching over the Relentless gear. Well, I'm not doing it right now, obviously, but I've got the Relentless gear ready to switch over onto the Doom Priest, a mix of defense percent, speed rolls on this as well. We're also stealing a double speed roll shield from the War Maiden from the Relentless set, and a happy little triple speed roll weapon from Diana, I think she's called. And then, of course, from Candleguard as well, we've taken these Lifesteal Boots, which rolled into HP percent, defense percent, grit, just max these up to 16, and she's going to be north of 210 speed total, I think. Yeah, about 210 speed total. Very, very good. Which now, of course, means that we've got to go ahead and preemptively sort of rebuild the Ugo a little bit as well. So, yeah, let's get to that. And all right, man, I think that this is the build that I would probably run out on the Ugo. After some upgrades and hitting some more accuracy rolls, our accuracy will get bumped up a little bit. We've also got a banner as well that, if rolled up, could help us out a little bit with accuracy there too. And so, yeah, the accuracy should finish up in a pretty decent place. This build for the Ugo could be much, much faster indeed. Of course, it looks like we're losing a lot of health and a lot of defense, but it's just because none of these pieces have been rolled up yet, you know? So there's a lot more to be gained as we roll up all of these pieces, actually. As long as we dodge the attack roll here on the weapon, it could be really, really good. Triple speed roll, Feral Shield, just being kind of stored away and not used that we could use, and we'll just literally be swapping shoes between the Ugo and the Doom Priestman. So I think this is a pretty damn solid Ugo build that we could look to use in future. Finally, Taragi, Taragi, Taragi. What are you ever going to do with such low accuracy? Let's see if we can fix that up, man, and make him plenty survivable as well, because with that Ally Protect, he's going to be soaking a lot of damage into Demon Lord Clan Boss, and yeah, Taragi's going to need to tank up a fair bit. And alright, this is what we came up with for the Taragi, shedding a lot of that kind of useless crit rate. The HP might look like it's taken quite the hit, but again, it's just because a lot of the stuff hasn't been rolled up. We could hit some more HP percentage here on the Immortal Weapon, and again, as he gains levels, he's also going to get more health. We only got like half of our accessories equipped right now as well, so that's going to help out too. And most importantly, when we roll up this chestplate, hopefully hitting another spot into accuracy here as we go, we're going to gain a hell of a lot of defense with this variation of the build 2, and we're also going to be taking away Ugo's shield because, yeah, we were swapping out Ugo's shield anyway with the Feral shield that got the triple speed roll, and so Ugo won't be needing the shield anymore, so we might as well go ahead and pilfer that and use that, man. So the accuracy is improved. It's not quite as good as where we would like it. That said, man, we've still got a lot of room to grow with accessories, and we do even have a accuracy banner right here, just waiting to be picked up and used, and a couple speed rolls would be great. A mix of speed and defense would also be great. Just defense would be great. This accuracy banner ready to rock and roll on the Taragi. We're going to have a much faster Taragi. A Taragi with a lot more survivability. Even if we lose a little bit of health overall, once everything's been rolled up, the defense gain is going to be crazy as hell to more than compensate for that. And so this is the build that I would look to key in. You know what? I'm just going to leave. I'm not even going to fix this typo, dude. Foggy, dude. Never mind, Froggy. Foggy. Okay, we'll just leave it at that, man. We'll leave it at that. Okay, man, that is all for the rebuilds on this account, and hope you guys enjoyed this, man. And most importantly, hope that this video was useful to some of y'all as well for refining out your builds a little bit and kind of trying to figure out what to max out next, man, or to take up to max level next to help you progress into the many forms of Clan Boss. So thanks for watching, everybody. As always, man, if you're looking to get your hands on 4 free epic champions and start off a new raid account and get a priority pass to get involved in this account takeover series, then make sure to start a new account using my beginner promo link, which is down below at the top of the video description box. Best possible way to start a new raid journey. And yeah, you won't regret it, man. It's awesome. Go ahead and do that, man. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'm going to catch all of y'all just a tad bit later, man.